Advocacy, alienate, allegory, amiable, anomaly, archaic. Still not the right 6A's. They're all SAT words though. And at this point, we're actually past the 6A's. I think this is number 8, which doesn't actually fit into the 6A's of PBL. But today we're looking at administrative support. Welcome to PBL Simplified for Teachers, where we simplify your PBL need-to-knows to simplify the PBL process for your classroom. Let me give you a quick Magnify Learning history lesson. We started super grassroots, super grassroots. It was just teachers teaching teachers in the summer. Like, hey, have you heard about project-based learning? No, what's that? It's awesome. You're going to love it. Just come down next week and we'll do some sessions. And then we held these grassroots network meetings where people would just kind of show up and say, what's been going well? Oh, my entry event was awesome. Well, great. You want to do a session on that? And then that person would do a session and the rest of us would just learn. And they'd say, we've been doing these workshops or my rubrics, and people would just present the things that were working. Super, super grassroots. And we loved that. And as we've grown to now be a national not-for-profit organization and have a ton of resources for the field, somewhere in that process, we still keep our grassroots in that all of our trainers are teachers that are in the classroom. Our blog is written by facilitators in the classroom. Our podcast is hosted by 2 teachers that are currently in the classroom. We love our PBL roots, but now we've seen we also need the administrative support to come and put in some of those structures to help things be sustainable and really take it to the next level. So let's look at 2 different ways where administrators can start to get on board with project-based learning if you're not already. And if you're a teacher that's maybe a lone wolf that's doing PBL in a school that's not a PBL school, you can kind of reverse engineer some of these ideas and they'll work as well. The first thing is, as a principal, just jump into a PBL classroom and then be curious. Say, I've never done an entry event. I'd love to see one. Do you mind if I sit in? Absolutely. And if you're a teacher, right, you invite your principal in. Come see what an entry event does to the learners. See the questions that they start to ask. See the way that they're engaged with the speaker because they know that they get to be a part of solving these problems. Invite your administrator into every different part of the process. Or if you are a principal, jump in somewhere to help. Maybe it's the authentic audience. So at the end of every PBL unit, your kids are going to present to an authentic audience. Drop the principal onto that panel. Let the principal ask some questions and see the critical thinking that your learners are doing. And then teachers take this vulnerable step of saying, how do you think we could do this better? I think this has a lot of possibility for my classroom and my learners. What did you see that you think I could improve on? And then do whatever he or she says as the administrator. As a principal, as you go into these conversations and it's a place new, stay curious. Why did you do it this way? Could you have done it that way? Try to stay away from some of the evaluation pieces that your teachers might be fearing as they're trying something new. Add some additional tips or give feedback. Likes and wonders are a great place to start. I really like how your learners gave eye contact to the community partner. I wonder if you've thought about contacting this person, or I wonder if you've thought about adding this additional resource. Right? So principals, you can start to get in there and be supportive in that way. And then you can start to learn about PBL as you do that. There are a lot of resources about the nuts and bolts about PBL. Obviously, you can read my book, you can look at blogs, you can just put in what is PBL. Right? We've actually got that page. I'll put it down in the description that gives you a quick overview of what PBL is in a graphic way and in a video format. So it's a great way to gather those resources, but there's still nothing like going into the mix, into that classroom to see what PBL is like, and do it a couple different times throughout a PBL unit so you can feel some of the flow. The other thing you can do, the second thing, administrators, is just get trained. Go through a training. We have a 3-day open workshop that's specifically for administrators. Administrators don't have to know how to fully build a PBL unit, although it's cool to make your professional development that way. But you do need to know how to support your teachers in PBL, whether it be evaluations or professional development. And when you actually leave those 3 days, we do lead you through a structured process of how your professional development could look different to engage your learners, which would be your teachers. So it's a really exciting time that's specifically tailored for the administrator. So find a training that does that, that's specifically for principals, because the administrative support is so important. We can inadvertently do some things at the administrative level to kind of choke PBL a little bit, or to maybe misunderstand some things. There are definitely some myths about PBL out there. So administrators, don't be afraid to ask those hard questions. And teachers, our administrators are just trying to figure some things out. So be free with those answers and be okay with saying, I don't know, but let's find out. Let's call Ryan, right? Just give me a call and I'd love to talk you guys through that or coach it. So you can find my number on the website. I'm sure you can reach out through the comments, and I'd love to get a hold of you and just talk through that. But there's so many resources about PBL right now. There's no reason to be grassroots and just be by yourself. You can plug into the general community via Twitter or a lot of different ways at this point. So stay plugged in. Don't do it by yourself. Get administrative support. Administrators, be curious. Teachers, be inviting. Be collaborative. The exact thing that we want our learners to do, right? Jim May from New Tech Network had this great quote that just said, your student culture will never rise above your adult culture. So we have to be able to collaborate so that our learners can do that too. And as you do that, as you go down this journey together, you will engage your learners, tackle boredom, and transform your classrooms.